He put on his elegant coat, adjusted the collar of his shirt carefully, and then admired his reflection in the mirror. Everything was in its proper place. No wrinkles, no stains, nothing that could diminish his presence. He knew people would notice, and that was what mattered. He stepped onto the street with confident strides, but he had no real destination. There was no specific goal, just to be there, to be seen, to have people look at him with admiration or even quiet envy. But deep inside, he felt something was missing, something invisible, yet more real than any expensive fabric covering his body. He stopped at a stylish café where young people sat, engrossed in their phone screens, while others chatted about fashion, cars, and celebrities. He took a seat in the corner, pulled out his phone, and started scrolling aimlessly, as if trying to convince himself that he was occupied with something important. But all he found were trivial news stories, posts about the latest trends, and meaningless gossip about who married whom and who broke up with whom. His mind was as empty as a designer handbag that held nothing but a mirror and some makeup. Everything about him was outward-facing, meant to be displayed. No deep thoughts, no questions, no reading, no attempts at understanding. Just a perfect image he was trying to maintain, even if that image concealed a vast emptiness. Was this enough? Were fancy clothes alone enough to make him valuable? What about the elderly man sitting in the corner, dressed simply, his gaze thoughtful? He didn't seem important, yet he was reading a thick book, absorbed in its pages, as if the world around him didn't exist. Was that man more significant than him? Was his mind so full that he had no need for an elegant suit to prove anything? A group of girls passed by, laughing and chatting about a celebrity who had just posted a new photo on Instagram. He glanced at their phones and saw a polished face filtered to perfection with a carefully crafted smile. Everything was fake, yet everyone treated it as absolute truth. A strange realization struck him. Maybe it wasn't just his clothes that were fake. Maybe his entire life was. Perhaps he was like that celebrity, living to project a certain image, to receive admiration, but in the end, he was nothing more than a shadow. Had he ever considered what filled his mind? When was the last time he read a book, questioned the meaning of something, or tried to understand himself beyond the gaze of others? His clothes were undoubtedly elegant, but was his mind the same? Did it carry real thoughts, or was it just a reflection of what others expected to see in him? Some rare people, like that elderly man, didn't need fine clothing to be valuable. Perhaps their minds were their true attire, and their thoughts the jewelry that adorned them. As for the rest, they were merely mannequins draped in expensive fabric, hollow on the inside. He stood up, walked slowly, and suddenly felt that his coat was much heavier than it should be. Perhaps an empty mind makes everything else feel heavier. Or perhaps he was beginning to realize something that had been absent all along. Appearance means nothing without substance, and a shell is meaningless if there is nothing inside.